He had everything a human could dream of. A giant mansion, private drivers, unlimited money, and people who bowed their heads when he walked past. But inside, he was completely out of control. Teachers feared him, classmates avoided him, workers prayed not to be assigned near him. He wasn't just spoiled. He was dangerous, unpredictable, and full of silent anger. People whispered, "This boy will destroy everything around him." And honestly, no one believed he could ever change until a simple employee entered his life. No power, no money, no status, just a calm voice and a broken past. And what she did shocked everyone. Before we dive into the topic, don't forget to like the video, subscribe channel, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. It was late evening in the mansion. The city lights outside were glowing, but inside the house, everything felt cold and empty. The boy sat alone in his luxury room, scrolling on his phone, bored, angry, restless. His father was on another business trip. Again, days without calls, weeks without real conversations. Money arrived every day. Love never did. He felt powerful, but also invisible. So he created chaos to feel something. He shouted at servants for no reason. He broke expensive things just to see reactions. He laughed when others looked scared. In his mind, fear meant respect, and respect meant love. But late at night, when the house became silent, he felt a strange emptiness in his chest. No friends, no real family, just walls and echoes. That same night, a new employee walked into the mansion. She was young, quiet, and carried pain in her eyes that no one noticed. The other workers looked at her and whispered, "She won't survive this boy." But she didn't know who he was. She didn't know his reputation. She only knew she needed this job, and she believed in kindness. And that was the beginning of something no one expected. Something that would break his anger and reveal a truth that would shake the entire family. The boy was born into luxury but raised by silence. His father was a famous millionaire, respected by the world, feared by competitors. But at home, he was just a shadow, always busy, always tired, always gone. When the boy was small, he waited by the door every night. He listened for footsteps. He imagined his father walking in, smiling, asking about his day. But most nights, the door never opened. Instead, there were messages, gifts, and expensive toys. "Sorry, I'm busy. I'll make it up to you." But time was never made up. As he grew older, the boy stopped waiting. He stopped hoping. He stopped caring. School became a battlefield. He fought classmates just to feel strong. He humiliated teachers to prove no. One controlled him. He laughed when people looked scared, because fear felt like power. Inside his mind, a dangerous thought kept repeating. If no one cares about me, why should I care about anyone? At home, servants avoided his eyes. Some quit after a week. Some stayed, but with trembling hands and forced smiles. He noticed their fear, and he liked it. It made him feel important. It made him feel seen. But in the middle of the night, when the mansion was silent and dark, he felt something else, a heavy, crushing loneliness. He stared at the ceiling and wondered, does anyone actually know me? His father called sometimes, but only to ask about grades or behavior. Never about feelings, never about dreams, never about pain. The boy learned to hide his sadness behind anger. He learned to turn hurt into cruelty. He learned that shouting was easier than crying, and slowly he became exactly what people feared. A rich boy with no limits, no guidance, no emotional control. Everyone believed he was lost forever, that money had ruined him, that his heart was already cold. No one believed a simple employee could change him. The first time he noticed her, it was by accident. She moved quietly through the house, cleaning, arranging, fixing things no one else cared about. She didn't look afraid. She didn't try too hard to please him. She just did her work, calmly, silently. That bothered him. He was used to people avoiding him, lowering their eyes, walking fast when he entered a room. But she didn't change her pace. She didn't flinch. So he decided to test her. One afternoon he walked past her and accidentally knocked over a glass of juice. It spilled across the floor, staining the carpet. He looked at her, waiting for fear, waiting for anger, waiting for tears, but she just picked up a cloth and cleaned it. No complaint, no shaking hands, just silence. That silence made him angry. The next day, he mocked her clothes, her accent, her job. "You're just a servant," he said. with a cold smile. You clean because you have no future. The words were cruel. He wanted to see pain in her eyes, but she only looked at him for a second, and then looked away. Something inside him twisted. Why wasn't she reacting? Why wasn't she afraid that night? He pushed harder. He threw a decorative vase against the wall. The sound echoed through the house like a gunshot. Workers froze. Someone whispered, "She's done. She will leave." He looked at her, his heart racing, his mind full of rage. "Look what you made me do," he shouted. "You think you're better than everyone here?" The house went silent. She stood there, surrounded by broken pieces, and finally spoke. Her voice was calm, but it carried weight. "You think power is breaking things," she said slowly, "but real power is controlling what's inside you." The words cut deeper than any punishment. No one had ever spoken to him like that. Not his teachers, not his father, not even his friends. For a moment, he forgot to breathe. He wanted to shout back. He wanted to laugh, but nothing came out. Her eyes were not angry. They were sad, as if she could see something in him that he tried so hard to hide. And in that moment, the out-of-control boy felt something he had never felt before. Shame, confusion, and a strange, quiet curiosity. Who was this woman? And why wasn't she afraid of him? The next day, he couldn't stop thinking about her words. They echoed in his mind, again and again. Real power is controlling what's inside you. No one had ever said something like that to him. People usually yelled, punished, or gave up. But she had looked at him like he was still human. That confused him. So he followed her quietly in the hallway and asked, "Why didn't you quit?" She paused for a moment, then she said, "Because I see a boy who is angry, not evil." Those words made his chest tighten. Later, she sat near him and told him her story. Her voice was soft, but every word carried pain. She grew up in a small, poor house. Her father died when she was young. Her mother worked day and night, but still couldn't buy much. People insulted her. Teachers ignored her. Relatives treated her like she was nothing. She said, "I was angry too. I hated everyone. I wanted to break things, just like you." He looked at her, shocked. He never imagined someone so calm could feel so much pain. But one day, she continued, "I realized anger only makes you lonely. It doesn't make people love you. It only makes them leave." Her words felt like they were aimed directly at his heart. She looked at him and said quietly, "You don't need to scare people to be seen. You don't need to break things to feel strong. You just need someone to listen to you." The boy felt his throat tighten. He wanted to laugh it off. He wanted to insult her again. But instead, he stayed silent. For the first time, someone understood him without asking for anything. No money, no power, no respect, just honesty. She added softly, "You're not a monster. You're just a lonely child who never learned how to cry." Those words broke something inside him. He turned his face away so she wouldn't see his eyes. He hated crying. He thought tears were weakness. But in that moment he felt something different. Not anger, not pride, pain and relief. Someone finally saw him. Something inside him began to change after that day. Not suddenly, not magically, but slowly, painfully, quietly. The boy started watching himself. He noticed how his words hurt people. He noticed how fear filled the room when he walked in. For the first time, he didn't feel proud of that fear. He felt ashamed. The next morning, he saw one of the workers drop a tray. Usually he would laugh. Usually he would shout. But this time, he stayed silent. He bent down and helped pick up the dishes. The worker froze, hands shaking. No one had ever seen him do that. Later, he walked past the employee and whispered, "Thank you for yesterday." She smiled but said nothing, and that smile stayed in his mind all day. Days passed. He stopped breaking things. He stopped insulting people. He still felt angry sometimes, but now he tried to stay quiet. He tried to breathe. He tried to remember her words. One night, his father returned from a long trip. He noticed the house felt different, quieter, calmer. He asked the servants, "What happened to my son?" They looked at each other, confused. "He's different now," one of them said. The father found his son sitting alone, reading, not shouting, not angry, just calm. He sat beside him and asked carefully, "Are you okay?" The boy looked up and said, I think I was angry because I felt alone. The words hit the millionaire harder than any business loss. He realized how many moments he had missed, how many nights his son waited, how many feelings he ignored. The boy added quietly, "She talked to me like I mattered, not like I was a problem to fix." The father felt a heavy weight in his chest. He had given money, he had given luxury, but he had never given time. And now, a simple employee had done what he never could. She had reached his son's heart. That night, the millionaire didn't leave for another trip. He canceled meetings. He stayed home. For the first time, father and son talked, not about grades, not about money, but about feelings, fears, and dreams. And slowly, the out-of-control boy began to feel something he never felt before: safe. One evening, the boy walked into the kitchen and stood quietly near her. He looked nervous, like a child who didn't know how to speak, his heart. He took a deep breath and said, "I don't like who I was." She paused and looked at him gently. "Then don't be that person anymore," she replied. His voice trembled. "I thought everyone hated me, so I decided to hate everyone first." She nodded slowly, as if she understood every word without judgment. After a long silence, he whispered, "Thank you for not giving up on me." Those words were heavy. They carried years of anger, loneliness, and regret. She smiled softly and said, "Eve, Ryan deserves someone who believes in them." That night, the boy went to his father and hugged him for the first time in years. The millionaire froze. He didn't know what to say. He didn't know how to respond. The boy whispered, "I needed you." The father felt his heart break and heal at the same time. He held his son tightly, realizing how close he came to losing him emotionally. The next day, he called the employee to his office. He thanked her with tears in his eyes. He offered her a better position, a better salary, and respect in the house. But she said quietly, "I only did what anyone should do. I listened." From that day, the mansion felt different. Laughter replaced shouting. Conversation replaced silence. Warmth replaced fear. The boy still had anger inside him. He still struggled. But now, he wasn't alone. He had someone who cared. And sometimes, that is all a person needs to change. He learned that real power is not in money, not in fear, not in control. Real power is in kindness, in understanding, in choosing love over anger. And the employee, the one everyone thought was nothing, proved that even the smallest voice can change a broken heart forever.